In this tutorial, we're going to edit a little bit more of our video of the girl in Cambodia, and along the way demonstrate a few tips and tricks that might come in handy, especially for people who are new to video editing. Let's go ahead and get back into our program here. And let's see, we kind of left off where Vanny was talking about how she had two brothers and one little sister, and how they all live together.
Parents on a small farm that we share with my grandfather.
Okay, so I guess the next thing we really need to do is go back and get some more of this narration of the voiceover, and I think what I'd like to do is show you a little bit of what I had to do with this voiceover track that was sent to me by my daughter. And I can't complain because it was a freebie, so. But she did not take the time to edit her piece. So she just sent me the full recording, mistakes and all. And so let's just go ahead and grab that. Here it is. And what I do in a case like this is I will bring this into a scratch sequence, or a sequence that I have set up just to help me with these types of things. Because Edius doesn't really show you the waveform of audio files, it's a lot easier if you can bring a track like that into. It's a whole lot easier working with a track like this if you can actually see the waveform. And we can open that up some more and expand out our timeline so we can see the voiceover visually a lot better. I find probably the best way to edit a file like this is to go over and change this into the insert mode. And this way we'll be able to edit this file much like what we showed you in a tutorial that I think was called the Quick Down and Dirty Edits, or something like that. And we'll just show a few samples of this quick editing of an audio voiceover track.
Hi. Hi, my name is Vanny. I live in a small village.
So we can see that we want to just start it here.
Small village in the central part of Cambodia.
Okay, I think she's okay then up to about this point, and then I think we've got a situation right around here somewhere.
This is when we grow our rice and vegetables. And then we have the dry season, when it is hot. And then we have the dry season.
So the best way to probably handle this is with your keyboard shortcut. Just hit the C key, and that makes a cut or a division in the audio file, and then go ahead and take it to the point where she starts over again. Hit the C key again, select the portion that we don't want, hit the delete key, and it brings it back. Okay, and then I think she's...
As you can probably guess by the very dry, harvested rice fields all around me.
Okay, so she's given me 2 takes of that and is leaving it up to me to choose the one. So I might listen to that a couple of times and then just delete one. And again, we'll just use the C key. And if as you press the button on the C key, it's just it's not selecting it, it's probably because your focus got switched from the track that you're trying to affect with your keyboard shortcut C. Okay, so again, we'll get rid of that. And so you get the idea of how you can
the rainy season.
quickly go through an audio track like this and select portions that you don't need. And then with that section selected, go ahead and just hit the delete key. And if you are in the insert mode and your ripple mode is on, then the rest of the audio track just slides forward and connects. And then one of the other advantages of working with a file like this in a scratch, it allows you to bring in portions of the audio track as needed. And so, for example,
Really like living in Cambodia.
so right now we have this portion already placed in our video. And so probably for our next portion that we want to cover, we'll just go ahead and maybe grab this much of it. So we'll make a cut there. And then just with our lasso effect, grab these 2 clips, hit the Control C to copy that material and then go back to our program and lay it down. Now, before we actually paste this material with a Control V, what we want to do is select or make our focus down to track 3, the voiceover track. And how we do that is just point to that track, and you'll see that it lights up there. And now, depending on where your cursor is, that's where our paste will go to. And so with a Control V, we paste our audio track there, our voiceover track. And then once it's in place here, we're not stuck with the timing on this. Of course, we can always go in and make more cuts and adjust the length in between each statement as we work with it. Now, just one other thing before we leave the scratch sequence, maybe show you one more thing there that I sometimes use a scratch sequence for. And that is, let's say you have a long clip that you want to turn into a time-lapse shot so that you get a nice motion on the clouds for a shot. So, you've set it up on a tripod for 10, 15 minutes, and now you want to take advantage of the fact that you have that and be able to use a kind of a time-lapse sequence there. So I find the scratch sequence very handy for this. You can take a really long clip there and use your slow motion or time motion effect to make a time lapse out of it. Let's just right click on our clip, and in version 6, it's worded a little bit differently than it has been in previous versions. So what you're looking for this time now in version 6 is time effect. And we'll go over and look for our speed effect. And here, as you work with speed, you can go backward or forward. You can choose to make it a slow-mo by going, say, down to 40%. That would make our clip slow motion. Now, as we're making this time motion effect, there's a couple of different ways that you can do it. One is to just kind of guess how much percentage you want to make an increase. Let's say you know that the clip is 10 minutes long and you want only 10 seconds, and you could work out the math on that, or just kind of take a guess. Let's plug in 5,000%. And if you look down here, especially if you have the box checked here, change the clip duration on the timeline, you'll notice that it displays the duration. And so we're very close. We wanted 10 seconds, and right now, by plugging in 5,000%, we're showing that this 10-minute clip is now going to only be 11 seconds on our timeline. So we can increase that just by pointing to the rate with our mouse, and as we increase the percentage, we can watch and see the actual duration decrease. And so by pulling it up just a little more, we can get that clip down to 10 seconds. And then as we hit OK, we'll see that our 10-minute clip comes down to 10 seconds. And in order to play this, you'll have to render it out. I did it earlier before we started the tutorial, and now we can see that we've got the nice time motion effect. So that's one other way that you can use a scratch sequence, is just to give you a little room to work with on doing some of these special effects. Okay, let's go back to our video and start laying down a few more clips. Okay, so let's just take a listen again where we left off.
Their parents on a small farm that we share with my grandfather.
Okay, I think what we want to do now is go back to a shot of our girl being interviewed. Just bring that in. And we remember that we want to have the interviews on track 2, so let's slide down our indicator there. And now our audio will drop down to track 2 as we place this in. And as we look at the waveform here of her audio, we see that she isn't quite ready to speak. We can just check that visually just by looking at the waveform. So we can trim that back and slide it back in, so that as we dissolve up into her, she's already speaking. And we probably don't need to hear her voice that clearly again, or that loud. Just be able to see her start to talk, and then we'll bring in the voiceover. Maybe have it up just a hair more. And then we'll bring our voiceover. So let's trim that back just a little bit and slide it back in. Across.
I have to say that I really like living in Cambodia.
And we remember we're bringing up that audio a little bit.
I have to say that I really like living in Cambodia.
And right about here, we can go after our next B-roll shot. Yeah, what she says
We have
is
2 seasons. We have the rainy season.
we have 2 seasons, and it's the dry season and the wet season. So we're going to start showing kind of a contrast between the rainy season and the dry season, and we'll go with some shots maybe of some rice planting with some nice green fields. And remember, we want to put our ambient audio on track 1, so let's slide that back and just drop it into place. Now, when we're dropping audio on like this as B-roll, and there isn't any audio leading up to that because the interview audio is on track 2, if we are wanting to do dissolves into that, and just might point out, if when you use your keyboard shortcut to apply a dissolve and it's just not showing up there, what may have happened is you have placed the dissolve actually on another track. We see that even though we have mapped the track to be video 1 and ambient audio 1, our focus is actually on audio track 3. And as we look over, we see that we have indeed added a dissolve over here on the voiceover track. We don't want that, so let's delete that and just note that if you're having problems placing a dissolve, that's probably what happened. Even though we have mapped our track to video 1 and audio track 1, just note that you also have to have your focus on a track to apply certain effects. And so let's try it now. Do our keyboard shortcut for applying a dissolve, and sure enough, it goes now. However, we've got a little situation here where we've got no audio to lead up to. And so if we want the ambient audio of these ladies planting rice, if we want to hear that, and we don't want, let's just expand this out a little bit, and we don't want the audio to pop in halfway through the dissolve, well, there's a couple of ways that you can work with that. If we just tried to grab a hold of that audio track and slide it across to match up, you'll see that that doesn't work. It actually stretches the transition down, and we never really do catch up to the transition. So what we're doing is we're actually affecting the duration of the video at the same time that we're trying to affect the duration of the audio, or the length of the audio. And that's because the clip is linked together or grouped together with the audio. The video is grouped together with the audio. And so as we try to make a change to the audio, it's automatically trying to make the same length change to the video. So to get around that, one way is to actually just hold down your Alt key before you try and make an adjustment to the audio. And now you'll see that you can stretch that audio out to make it the same length as your dissolve, and now we'll be dissolving up. However, there's another trick that I like to do for the ambient track that kind of solves it in one swoop, and you don't have to use the Alt key for every clip that you want to extend out. And that is to go after a matte track. And we have one of those in graphics. Doesn't matter what color the matte is because we won't actually be using the video portion of it. Just go ahead and find a matte, and if you don't have any mattes generated yet, you can easily create one just by going up and finding this color bar icon here, and just right click on that, and you'll get a drop down menu and choose color matte. And and just hit OK. And you'll have a color match show up in your bin window. And now you can just drag and drop that down to your timeline. Except that we have to be careful where we place it. We don't want to be overwriting, say, the music track that might already be in place there. Let's just do an undo there. Maybe better to come to the other end. This is one of the reasons why it's kind of handy to have your video start 10 minutes in to your timeline so that you can do things like this. Something like what we showed you earlier using a scratch disk. There's a lot of things that you might just do in a blank area like this where you're not going to affect your program. So let's drag that down again, and now we're not going to be erasing anything or overwriting anything. And now what we want to do is just ungroup this. Right now the video portion of this mat is linked together or grouped together with the audio portions of this mat. So what we want to do is get rid of the video portion, and we can ungroup this by right-clicking on the mat and choosing Link Group from your drop-down menu and go to Ungroup, which is Alt-G if you're using keyboard shortcuts. And now the audio portion is no longer linked to the video portion, and we can delete the video portion and just go ahead and grab one of these tracks and do a copy on that by Control-C. And now we can go over to our ambient audio track, this one here, and just do a copy paste. Let's put our focus there on track 1 and do a Control-V. And now we have this audio from the mat showing up. Let's just delete our rice planting shot for now. And then just take this audio track, which is just blank audio, no sound at all. Let's just go ahead and we'll maybe collapse our timeline here. We'll just stretch this blank audio track all the way out for 10-15 minutes. And that way now, as we add B-roll, we'll see that we can now drop this in. And now, as we place a dissolve on the video track, Edius will automatically also place a dissolve on the audio track. And because we have this color mat there, it has something to actually dissolve up from. And we'll go ahead and place that. All right, so let's listen to the narration and see where we need to bring in our next clip.
We have 2 seasons. We have the rainy season.
Okay, we can probably bring it in right about there. Have a wider shot of some rice planting that kind of illustrates the rainy season. I think she talks about how we can have a rain every day. Let's maybe pick it up about there and bring that down to our timeline. And we'll see, because we are in the overwrite mode, it's no problem just to bring it in, and it'll overwrite any material that's already there.
We have the rainy season, where we can get a heavy rain almost every day.
And now we probably want to bring our audio over more.
Almost every day. This is when we grow our rice and vegetables.
Probably just a little too close. Give yourself a little breather there. And another rice planting shot I think will work here. Let's try this one here. I think this is the one we use. And just drag that down.
This is when we grow our rice and vegetables. And then we have the dry season.
Okay, we need a shot of a nice dusty field. This one probably works fine.
And then we have the dry season, when it is hot, dry, and dusty.
And if you see that maybe you want to just carry that rice planting shot out just a little longer, what you can do is just point to the section right in between the transition, and you'll see it kind of lights up there with both the yellow and the green showing up. And as you point your mouse to it, you'll see the little back and forth arrow. Once you see that, then you know that you're good to go to trim that out, and that as you slide your mouse to the right, that you'll get more of the first clip and less of the second clip as you trim that out.
And then we have the dry season, when it is hot, dry, and dusty. We never get winter or
And probably another dusty field shot. Maybe one of these ones with the water buffalo would work.
we never get winter or snow like they do in Norway.
Okay, the audio's a little hot, so we'll just drag that down.
Dusty. We never get winter or snow like they do in Norway.
Now, for this particular version, I believe that we decided just to use more of a generic statement there rather than specifically talk about Norway. I believe when I had my daughter do the voiceover, I had her do several different takes on this. Let's maybe go back to our scratch bin and find her audio.
We never get winter or snow like they do in other countries, just the dry season and the rainy season.
Okay, so for this more generic version, we can bring in that take. So just again, do a cut and select, do a copy, and go back to our sequence and bring our focus down to the voiceover track by clicking on the gray area there, and now we can overwrite that section.
We never get winter or
Okay, and because we're in the overwrite mode, the paste that we do with a Control V will overwrite that. Slide that back.
we never get winter or snow like they do in other countries, just the dry season and the rainy season.
Okay, we probably need another shot there. So the water buffalo's not up so much. Let's maybe go back to our scenic bin and see if we have another shot of the palm trees here in the dry season. That one looks like that one's out of focus a little bit. Don't you hate it when your shots are out of focus? Sometimes I just want to fire myself. Here we go. Looks like I caught it. So we have Vonnie walking through the fields there in the dry season.
Do in other countries, just the dry season and the rainy season.
All right, so that shows you a few tips and tricks. Let's see if I had anything else on my list for this tutorial. Maybe just point out one more thing for this tutorial, and that is a lot of new editors are wondering, why can't I just point, like I say, I want to get rid of the audio of that. It's just too much ambient audio, and I just want to get rid of the audio. Why can't I just point to the audio and just hit the delete key? Why does it go ahead and delete the video too? And let's just hit the undo there. How do I just get rid of the audio? Well, there's a couple ways you could do that. One is you could go and lock down the video track and then delete your audio, and it would keep the video. But that's a lot of clicking to do, especially now that they've hidden away the lock feature there. Probably the best way to accomplish this task is to right-click on the clip itself, either the video or the audio portion, and go to Link Group. And then from the drop-down menu, choose Ungroup. And now what you've done is you've kind of unlinked it. If you're coming from Premiere Pro, you've unlinked the video from the audio, and now you can affect the video without doing any damage to the audio, and vice versa. You can get rid of the audio without affecting or making any change to the video clip itself. So that's handy to know that you can ungroup that and affect those separately. Well, I think that's it for the tips and tricks as we work with our edit. In upcoming tutorials, we'll work more specifically with various effects, color balances, and maybe get into some motion mats and different things that are now available in version 6. But for now, that's it for quick tips on a typical edit.